So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. The law is an ass, a big fat ass. Get your filthy minds out of the gutters. Not that type. The saying the law is an ass is from a 1654 English play, and an ass in this context means a donkey, an animal known for its stupidity and obstinance. That proverbial expression, the law is an ass, refers to the stupidly rigid application of the law. Even if the truth is glaring, even if the judge can see it and feel it in his bones, the law does not see the truth. It doesn't know the truth. It only understands the weight and the admissibility of the evidence before it, as well as the provisions of the law supporting that evidence. Little wonder, the symbol of the law is a blindfolded woman with a scale and a sword. The blindfold signifying objectivity, regardless of sentiments, regardless of public outcry, regardless of outrage and tears and curses and bans on social media, it cannot see them. The scale representing the weight of the evidence before it and on whose side it tilts towards, and the sword embodying the power of the law to enforce justice. The sooner we understand and come to terms with the global principles of how the law works, the more refined our arguments would be, and the better positioned we will be. And that is why you have me, my humble self, at your disposal to impact these knowledge and nuggets. So if you're new here, you're seeing this beautiful face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, you're doing yourself some great injustice. Do hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up already, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued because there is always so much more coming your way. That said, shall we dive right into this video? This video is sequel to a former, link of which I will drop in the description box. In that last video, I brought us the whole story of 11-year-old Sylvester Oromoni, the JSS2 student, or now ex-student, of Dowen College, who his father alleged was gang assaulted by a group of cultists consisting of 5 boys who walked into his room, put off the lights, and stomped on him, beating him terribly, and then forcing him to ingest a poisonous substance. A coroner's inquest was set up by the Lagos state government to unravel the truth surrounding the death of Sylvester, and a few days ago, verdict was given. The magistrates absolved Dowen College of all blame and released these 5 alleged bullies of all liability, saying that they do not have any hand in the passing of Sylvester, and that Sylvester died due to his parents' negligence, as well as the negligence of the medical doctor who treated and trivialized his condition. When this information about the judgment came to light, social media went berserk. So many people were alleging compromise on the part of the judge, the magistrates. Oh, bribe must have exchanged hands. Money must have exchanged hands. You see why I cannot rely on the justice system of Nigeria, of this country? This is a pure case of man no man, power no power. Of course, Dowen is a big and wealthy institution. They have the resources to bribe their way out of any case. And amongst these 5 boys that were accused, one of them is the son of a former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the late Senator Buruji Kashimu. His father has friends in power that will protect his son. How can a football ankle injury cause such excruciating pain on that child? We saw the video. We saw him groaning and wincing in pains. We saw his mouth burnt. His sister corroborated that these boys have been bullying her brother for a long time, and the school condoned it without taking any serious steps to put it to an end. What more of an evidence could be more potent than a dying declaration itself, purportedly made by Sylvester Oromoni by his father? How can a judge ignore all of this evidence and turn around to blame the parents of that child for his demise? They were raging in annoyance. Let us address these, legally speaking. First, The dying declaration purportedly made by Sylvester to his father. What is a dying declaration? Section 40 subsection 1 of the Evidence Act of 2011. It says, a dying declaration is a statement made by a person who may die from an injury received from a person whom the deceased person identified as the person who inflicted on him the injury that eventually caused his death. I would explain. So if a man is dying at his point of death, not just a sick bed or from an injury that he knows that he's going to recover from, no, he must be at the point where there is no hope. He or she knows that he's going to die. And that dying man or woman points to a person and says, this is the person that caused these injuries on me that is about to take my life. That is a dying declaration, and that is admissible in court as evidence. Its admissibility and acceptance in law stems from a Latin maxim which, when interpreted to English, means a man will not meet his maker with a lie in his mouth. So the law believes that at the point where a man is seeing death, he has nothing to lose. He has nothing at risk. His impulses to lie and defend us for survival are all flattened. He is transitioning to another realm. There is nothing to gain or lose anymore. The law believes that a person in this situation has very low propensity to tell or to retain a lie. And that is why sometimes in some movies, you see the bad guy, maybe he has been hit by a bullet from the actor, and you see the actor rush to him and start asking him, who sent you? Who sent you? You'll be wondering, why is this hard guy gonna talk? And you'll be surprised sometimes you hear the dying guy say the person that sent him, because at that point, he is going. There is no strength. There's no energy to think. There is nothing left. He is dying. So the court takes cognizance of a dying declaration, but it is subject to certain criteria. Not all dying declarations are admissible. First, for a dying declaration to be admissible in court, the person who gave that declaration must have been dead. So if a man gives a declaration and he recovers or he didn't die again, that dying declaration is not admissible in court because it ceases to be a dying declaration. 2, the deceased person must have been in a hopeless expectation of death. If there was any chance of survival, or he believed or hoped that he was going to recover, then it cannot count as a dying declaration. He must have seen himself face to face with death and known that there is nothing that can be done anymore. It is only upon that condition that the dying declaration can be accepted by the courts. 3, it is only admissible in cases of murder and manslaughter. So if it's a case of fraud, for example, and a man is dying and he declares that it is this man that defrauded the bank, it is me and him that defrauded the bank of this amount of money, that cannot pass as a dying declaration because he's not confessing to an incident that led to death. He is confessing to an incident of another nature, maybe fraud or trespass or libel, whatever. It will not count. It is only an incident that led to the death of that person that made that pronouncement that can count as dying declaration. There are some other criteria, but I do not want to bore you with all of it. I know that by these our videos and nuggets, many of you are getting informed and learned. In fact, I'm sure some of you can go to the market right now and buy your wig and gown and enter the courts and win any case. Don't quote me on that. But I understand that you guys derive a lot of knowledge from our legal nuggets, but let me not get too deep into that. But I hope you understand what a dying declaration means. It can be oral, it can be written, it can be videoed, it can take several forms. So I'm sure you'll be thinking, Sylvester's testimony met this criteria of a dying declaration. Why didn't it count for something? Why didn't the courts admit it in evidence and use it as an indictment on these boys and the school? This is why. For a dying declaration or any other evidence at all given by a minor below the age of 14, it must be supported by another separate, independent, well-established evidence, either a witness account or maybe a medical result. But standing alone, a court cannot convict or indict somebody due to a dying declaration by a child below the age of 14 when there are no other material evidence to back it up or to support it. So take a look at the two words. One, there has to be maybe a witness account. In this case, Sylvester's father reported that he was in the room with other classmates, but no single one of those students or classmates corroborated Sylvester's dying declaration. I do not know whether the parents didn't want to be part of the trial. Many parents in Nigeria are very protective of their children, especially when it comes to murder or manslaughter or death issues. Like, please, even if the child tells them that they witnessed it, they will call the child and draw their ears and say, shut up. I do not want you in the media. I do not want you in court. I do not want any of this. Shut up. Please. That didn't happen. You didn't see anything. So many parents shy away from having their children involved in these kinds of issues. So I am not talking about testimonies on social media. I am saying that in the court, there was no other witness that came forward to testify seeing those 5 boys beat up Sylvester on that fateful day. Yes, Sylvester's sister also gave account of a bullying and incident that happened prior to that main incident. But that was not the incident that led to death. That was a different scenario entirely. There was no other witness account to support Sylvester's dying declaration. 2. Medical reports to support it. The results from the autopsy and the toxicology tests that was conducted by these 10 pathologists reveals that Sylvester died of sepsis. Their report held that there was nothing consistent with beating on Sylvester's body. There was a full radiograph conducted on his remains, no single fracture, no single breakage of bone, no single dislocation, nothing that shows or evidences gang beating. And even the poisoning that was alleged by Sylvester's father, the autopsy report also held that no substance in his mouth or stomach suggested any chemical intoxication. So there was neither witness nor medical reports to substantiate the claim of a dying declaration by Sylvester. Evidence. No evidence. The law is an ass. Secondly, on this same dying declaration, the autopsy report revealed that Sylvester passed from septicemia, severe sepsis. And if you are familiar with the symptoms of sepsis, it says changes in skin color, difficulty breathing, chills, extreme weakness, bodily pains, disorientation, or changes in mental ability, hallucinations. So it is very possible that the attorney representing the school or the 5 alleged bullies claimed that this purported dying declaration that Sylvester's father is talking about may have been born out of hallucinations due to severe sepsis that he suffered from. And there is medical reports to substantiate that claim. Evidence. Evidence. The law is an ass. Now let us discuss the very important issue of a remote and an immediate cause of death. People are upset with the judgment and the magistrates, saying that, okay, let us say Sylvester's parents were negligent with how they handled him, they didn't take him to the hospital on time, the doctor didn't act professionally, this and that. Why is the court ignoring the background, the foundation of the whole problem? Why is the court not addressing what led to Sylvester being in that position in the first place? After all, if he wasn't beaten by these boys, would his parents have to have started taking him to one hospital after the other? Why don't we address the root cause, the beating, not addressing the reaction of his parents? Yes, the law takes into account a remote and an immediate cause of death. The remote cause of death is like a primary underlying reason. It initiates the chain of events that will eventually lead to the death. It may be abstract and may not be directly evident at the time of death, but a remote cause, if traced back to, can be identified. So it happened sometime before the main cocoa that kills the person happened. And that main cocoa is what the law describes as the immediate cause of death. So the immediate cause of death is the final link in the chain of events that started from that remote cause. It is more tangible and readily available. So for example, somebody gives you a big punch, not you. So for example, somebody gives another a big punch in the head. It led to a fever, it led to a hemorrhage, it led to an infection, it led to septic shock and eventual death. The remote cause of death in this case is that punch that started the spiral of events, while the immediate cause of death could be the sepsis. And the law puts into account, it factors both remote and immediate. So people are asking in Sylvester's case, why is the magistrate only focusing on the immediate cause of death? What about the remote cause, the beating? Now this is where you get it wrong. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. The court by no chance held or arrived at a conclusion that Sylvester was beaten at all. Talk more of beaten by the 5 alleged bullies. It is Sylvester's father that is alleging that. That incident never happened. There is no evidence of it. No one testified to have witnessed it. The post-mortem examination didn't show anything that suggests it. So in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of the courts, that beating incident never happened. And that is why the magistrate pronounced that Sylvester died from natural causes. The natural cause which was amplified by parental and medical negligence. The remote cause of death being the ankle injury which was sustained during a game of soccer, which caused a bacterial infection that spread, leading to sepsis that was badly managed and eventual death. That is the position of the courts. Evidence. The law is an ass. Sylvester's father has reacted to the judgment of the courts, rejecting it entirely, saying that he is going to meet with his lawyer and re-strategize in the pursuit of justice for his child.
But is there anything you would have done differently? Having listened to all the experts, the medical experts, is there anything you would have done differently to give Sylvester better
medical
care?
experts did not give us a concluding result. They said they saw a substance inside the body of the man. And what was it? Was it tested? It wasn't tested. So this is not the end of the case. As far as I'm concerned, it does not represent the true proceeding of the evidence taken.
So what's the next move?
Don't worry, I will consult my lawyers.
Are you going to appeal the judgment?
Don't worry, I will consult my lawyers.
All right, Mr.
What do you think about this situation? Do you also sense compromise, or do you believe that Sylvester's parents may have been negligent just as the judge had ruled? Well, this is not a trial judgment. This is just a coroner's inquest. This case still may or may not go to court. More evidence could still come up. And remember, it just takes one single piece of evidence, new evidence, to change entirely the face of any case. I do hope that justice does prevail. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're seeing me for the first time, you're new here, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments, your feelings, your thoughts down in the comment section, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl, Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.